Good morning. Happy Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. Okay. Happy Thursday.
Greetings.
Hey, Verity. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna get ourselves into this here. We're still alive. We've got another point of interest I have to put back. And we also have to start saving up for... We gotta start saving up for the CV. Let me just do some, there we go. There. Had to refresh a little bit here. Ugh. Early morning. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'd probably do some mining first off. First do some mining, and then we'll go assault our first. I see you don't die too early. Yep, I'm gonna try not to. Definitely not the goal. I'm gonna just do some mining. Need to get my hands on a bunch of material for the CV, which we'll eventually get to here. Then we can move on to doing creative for a while until we figure out what late game's gonna look like. Yeah. There we go. Turn on main power.
Acknowledged.
How weird that was just turned on automatically. That's awesome. That's odd. Okay. So we need a ton of iron. We need a ton of everything. Grab some copper from there. The abandoned factory. Medium deposit up there. Grab this one first. Grab that iron deposit. Opportunity to just gather materials while it's still fairly early. I've also been playing around with ideas for ship designs. Pretty much at work. It's been a while since I actually started sketching out ideas about anything. Yeah. Already done this one. Check. Apparently I've done this one already. Check the map. Oh. There's a lie. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Well, that was completely empty already. Okay. Go get the silicon then, as we're nearby. I know there's a couple of iron deposits down there. some weird update issues, or map update issues. Slightly past the alien tower. And we're also gonna have to go and get ourselves a bunch of lithium and tier 2 materials. I'm gonna make a warp trip, get a bunch of that. We need quite a bit. Okay. Stupid fucking raptors. Yeah, I need to take you out. Put a light on here. I need to wait for everything to load in. Hardcore with a voice pack, you say? Yes. Hardcore. In other words, if I die, I start from the very beginning. I delete my save. And voice pack, which is called a voice pack called Voice Attack, which is a program used by people who play flight simulators and also games like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, to be able to in order to use like keybinds. It does keybinds for me by just saying things. They're gonna follow me around. I need to get them to go away. Oh, for fuck's sake. If I had a couple of guns on this thing, I could just shoot them, but... Easy. Like, for instance, lock.
Affirmative. Stand by.
Lock.
That's a negative.
Unlock.
Accepted.
Turn off main power. Turn off main power.
Engaging.
Turn on main power.
Affirmative.
Stuff like that. Yeah, it works. It's just... What? Lock?
Executing now.
It is not locking. It is not locking my angle. It's supposed to be locking my angle. I don't know what they changed recently about the game, but I think they changed the keybind for locking your... Is it still Shift O? Alt O, Control O. Not Control. Shift O. Okay, well. Okay. Try that again. This is like one of the major ones where I have to have it be a voice command so I can easily lock.
Unable to comply.
Unlock.
Executing now.
Okay, now it's back completely backwards. Yes, I never used the lock feature, never needed that. Yeah, it's mostly so I can get a nice straight line when I'm drilling. Okay, now try it. Lock. Lock.
Yes, Commander.
There we go. Now it works. But that's really what it's for. It's just to allow me to kind of keep my hands on the mouse and the directional keys and not have to take my hands off to just do a command that's literally Shift O, which is two buttons on complete opposite sides of the keyboard. But I'm slowly expanding the program's capabilities so that I have like multiple different things it can do. Is it as fast as the execution? Well, mostly because the bulk of what voice attack can do is dependent on plugins. So if the game if a modder or the developers added voice attack functionality, it could go as far as giving you audio cues saying your health is low or you're almost out of fuel, or even as far as recognizing that the vehicle you're in already is turned on. So when you say turn on main power, it will say this ship already has power on, or stuff like that. But it's also not meant to be the fastest option. I mean, keybinds will always, just hitting the keybinds yourself is always going to be the fastest option. I mean, to turn on the main power and turn off main power for your vehicle is just hitting the, Y. Just hit the, key Y, so. Would it be good to use on weapons on and off? Yeah, if there was a key to where you could, it'd be very useful if the, like in here, if the custom stuff was, you could put onto keybinds, then yeah, voice attack would be very useful. Because then you could say, enter combat mode, and what it'll do is it'll turn on all your guns and turn on extra thrusters so you can move around faster. But it's mainly I'm using it to kind of make it feel like I have an onboard AI that I'm interacting with while I'm playing. Because the game doesn't have an onboard AI kind of a character in the game. Which, it just makes sense to have, some sort of an AI helping you out in a sci-fi game. Yeah, apparently we scraped the top part of the deposit, so... Unlock.
As you wish.
Stone. Apparently this one's like a very, very small one. Extremely small one. If you're active on the forums, you could suggest a feature to implement. Yeah, I've done a couple of suggestions already on the forums. Mostly things like adding features to where you can have like all of your what do you call them, your containers on the ship kind of be able to drop it somewhere, and it goes through several different factories, and the game's kind of frozen here. Well, the stream is kind of frozen. There we go. Okay. Problem with the game. Takes out too many resources and causes things to freeze up. Okay. We don't need you anymore. But I'd say probably they should be focusing more on making sure that gameplay elements are implemented correctly, rather than adding something that probably only I am using. Let's go here. Go here. Iron. Hey, Tent Raider, how's it going? But yeah, right now we're just gathering resources for our first CV for our hardcore run, which we've already designed. We just need to get the materials for it so we can get the blueprint. Come on, rotate over. Thank you. This I've discovered that the game does not like hills. It does not like you trying to hover on hills or build in hills. And the game starts to complain when you do that. It likes flat surfaces. Yeah, it was the game. It's the game. The game is kind of screwing around with me right now. Yeah. Yeah. Just lock.
Yes, Commander.
Yeah, it's the game right now. Whenever you first start the game, it kind of takes a while for all the features to start kicking in. It's something that they've been trying to fix by updating Unity, but they had to move their Unity. They had to push back their version of the game because they ran into problems. But I'm hoping that they get that fixed. May have, by reverting back to a previous version, they probably screwed up a couple of things. Probably gonna have to tonight check my version, have it check all the files, make sure that they're correct. But for those of you who are new here, the way I play this game, the way I'm playing it now is to add more challenge for myself. But the rule set is, well, one, it's hardcore, so if I die, I delete my save no matter how far I've progressed. Rule number 2 is that I can only use blueprints that I myself have designed. So that means I have to plan, when I'm designing these things, I have to plan ahead what I'm looking to accomplish and what I might be up against. Rule number 3 is that I'm allowed to adapt. I'm allowed to adapt any of my designs, if it requires it, and also, I'm allowed to adapt by adding or subtracting blocks, but I'm not allowed to spawn in something, completely tear it down, and build it back up again. I'm not allowed to do that. Is ever slow. Yeah, well, it's in early access, and they're still trying to figure out, the direction they want to go. Another rule that I'm giving myself is that I'm not allowed to go to space until level 10, and I'm not allowed to develop I'm not allowed to spawn in a CV until I think we've decided like level 15. That way it forces me to have to make a base on the surface and deal with the drone attacks. Okay, unlock. Unlock.
Yes, sir.
Doing it this way makes it a little bit more difficult, but also it forces me to come up, you know, with something different. Pretty much everything I've been designing has been like small, inexpensive, but effective. Rather than, you know, rather than going with the sledgehammer route, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with making a giant ship. Nothing wrong with a giant ship. I made a couple of giant ships. I made a giant I think it was like 200-meter long destroyer with a bunch of guns on it. Well, I've done that. Yeah. Wind's picking up. Have to do this by hand because the drill won't make it up. But this playthrough is just kind of what I've decided to do. Is early game is going to be above ground, but as we progress through the playthrough, we'll go more and more base underground. And then once we get those once we can go from early game to late game, then we'll start designing maybe like I've got an idea of a kind of like an RV, but it's more of like an unpackable base. So the idea is that you have a CV and you have HVs and SVs components locked on board, that when you go and land the CV somewhere, it undocks, you can undock everything and it makes a base. So we'll take like HVs that are essentially just turrets that we can post around the CV, and then we'll have another HV that's like the main building base that we undock from the CV and land nearby. And then we'll have two of these things docked underneath it. One that's a harvester and one that's a mining platform that we can undock and go and gather materials. And then once we're done on a particular planet, we just dock everything back up and take off in the CV. Rather than, you know, going the hangar route, I want them all to be hanging off the side on the outside. You know, because yesterday I kind of went around and tried to find what the limitations of how many vehicles you can dock to one CV, and apparently it's infinite. I didn't run into a point where the game basically told me stop at, you can't, you know, dock anymore. So, but I'm willing to go and try and test that even further, see how far it will allow me to dock things to one structure. That's the idea I've been trying to figure out. Okay. Okay, and we're gonna do this. Lock.
As you wish.
There we go. once we do a little bit of mining here, which is, this isn't taking very long, I'm going to go and take out that advanced spaceport. Yeah, the only limit would be space to dock on, right? Which really right now I've got these two resource gathering HVs already made. So I have to just make sure to have a dedicated space to be able to put these things onto a CV. But I would have to design a undockable living quarters that I can park nearby. And I also have to make probably a redesign of a tank, maybe, for assaulting points of interest, separate from the CV itself. Because I like the idea of a bunch of small things collected together to accomplish, you know, a bigger thing. Unlock.
Initiating.
Come on. Come on, there we go. But yeah, we've gotten pretty much as, you know, all the way to mid-game on this playthrough. I'm thinking probably if we assault the advanced spaceport, should be at level 15. Should. Any word on 9? No. No, they haven't given an exact date yet. I'm hoping they do, because then it's going to make things a little bit more interesting because of the waves of enemies. And the fact that they're going to attack from more than just one direction. Make things interesting. I have to head back. I'm getting hungry. Map here. That now. Which I have been paying attention. I've been waiting for them to announce a date. For them to finally say, this is when 9's coming up, so that I can start kind of finalizing some designs and also preparing a base that can withstand from multiple angles. And seeing if having my base be separate objects is going to work out. It should work out. But that's why I went with the hardcore playstyle, because it allows me to kind of polish out some designs, making sure that they're inexpensive and quick to create. Whoa. Because, you know, it's very easy to just make a vehicle that's very expensive. But, you know, when you're early game, you kind of want it, you want to get it as soon as possible rather than, you know, having to gather a million iron ore just to get it spawned in. I got a couple bases I want to test with 9. Yeah, I hear you. right here and go and get some food. Also grab all of the iron we just got. Turn off main power. Turn off main power.
Affirmative. Stand by.
Also, you know, another reason why the voice commands are not working 100% of the time is because I always seem to mutter, you know, just kind of, I don't enunciate. So the voice commands don't seem to pick up on what I'm trying to say. That's my problem. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Have it make all these into iron here. Yeah, go and get ourselves something to eat real quick. Probably grab just a raw vegetable. I should. There we go. I can't wait until this weather has switched over because it's causing my nose to go crazy. Ugh. Waiting on that. Waiting on food. Eventually here I almost want to, if we're going to be doing this much material, I feel like I should probably make the furnace. The ground furnace I designed is expensive. I made a completely different base structure that is just a furnace with five generators and fuel tanks. That's it. That's all that's on there. And even then, if I were to add anything onto that, if I were to put anything else onto that structure, it wouldn't be able to sustain the furnace. I can't even put lights on it. It's absolutely expensive. There we go. Yeah. But what we're trying to design, what we're trying to actually get the materials for, is this giant, well, not giant, it's a fairly large CV. Not that one. There it is, light transport. This thing. It unlocks at level 10, so it's inexpensive, but it's the fact that we need tons of material. I mean, nearly 4,000 sathium, nearly 3,500 iron, 1,200 neodyme, and 647 cobalt, nearly 1,000 silicon. So we need a lot of stuff, and it's designed to transport one SV and one HV and be able to warp away to the much further away planets. It's kind of it's designed to be one half Hammerhead Republic vessel from Star Wars and one half Pillar of Autumn, but smaller. I have it on the workshop. It's a pretty cool design. Okay. I think we might have enough iron for this. Get all the other materials kind of squared away though first. Yeah, to factory. Okay. Might have enough copper. 300. Yes, we have enough copper. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Silicon. Oh, 900 silicon. Yeah, it's not too expensive. It just requires having to go to, like, all of the base materials, especially the iron. We have to go to several iron deposits to get it. So, for going from mid-game to late game, it's not that expensive. It really isn't. It just have to go out and get the materials. Which, for testing purposes, this playthrough, every other difficulty is on hard. So all the other difficulty settings are on hard, except for resources. For the sake of testing, for the sake of us being able to figure out the progression and make it nice and smooth, we've cranked the resource gathering to rich. So we're going to have the materials. Eventually, though, once we get this kind of figured out and the progression nice and smooth, then I'll crank the resource to rare, to where it's taking us a lot of effort just to find resources. That's when attacking all the points of interest come into play. Attacking all the points of interest, taking anything that we can't use at the time, like night vision goggles, going up to the space station and selling it for crits and getting our resources that way too. Forcing us to kind of do a combination of going to an admin space station, buying ingots that way, and also finding resources through deposits, and finding resources through points of interest. Which means, you know, our giant our CV will be a lot harder to get. But that's the point. Wait. I'm about to say, what? Never mind. We're good. 400. Silicon got the 350. Oh. Copper was taken care of pretty quickly, which is nice. Another part of this that I'm gonna figure out is, do we want to do a story mode on top of it? What I've been told is that the PDA for the story mode, totally overpowered, is going to send us to a molten planet, and there's this particular go-to planet. Get gratification. There's a alien planet that it sends you to, which is a lava planet. Brewery, silvery guy, second wave, third wave. Okay. I'm thinking probably if this one gets us to the lava planet, that'd be good. Because there's a floating fortress that I want to eventually attack, and that will be pretty much kind of like the end of the run. It's like, yay, we survived hardcore without dying all the way and took out a giant floating fortress. Because I attacked one when I was in just casual, and it was hard. I mean, I think I got attacked by like an army. It was crazy. But the fact that you have to go to a hostile lava planet just to find it sounds interesting. But as soon as I figure out the progression, of all the vehicles, and then where we're going and what our goal is, trying to find this thing, then once we do a successful run, I'm going to come up with different alternative ways of playing through that. Like, for instance, having kind of like playing nomad style. So essentially, you start out with a small HV, and then a larger HV, and then an HV with that allows you to I think you can put growing stuff on board. I think there is. Either that or we'll have to gather materials as we go, which wouldn't be too bad. Gathering food as we go. And then we'd make an SV that was like a drop ship with a basin inside. And then we'd make a CV that would be a base inside with everything else docked up on top of it. And yeah, floating ones. Remember the one time it bugged on me where it blew up, fell to the ground, the ship's still in it, stranded. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that sucks. It's like, oh no. Okay, how much silicon do we have? 800? Okay, try that. Okay, so 200 more. There we go. This should do it. Oh, that's copper. I need silicon. Right. Okay, there we're good on that. How much cobalt do we got? Okay, neodyme, I don't think we're anywhere close to that. Yeah, we're not even anywhere close to that. Sathium, 800. We have 800 some odd. Not even close. Let's actually grab only like 600 of it. There we go. Get us started on that. Cobalt 6, so we need 500. 500 cobalt. There we go. There we go. Okay, so yeah. The ones that I was expecting gonna take a while. Let's see if we have enough iron already. Maybe we're lucky. Nope, that's gonna take a while. Well, we're gonna be sleeping, so that should be finished by the time we wake up. Got my warp CV already? Yep. Yep. I've got one we have called, well, one that I've dubbed is the Wedge. Because it's like an arrowhead. It's a arrowhead design for over here. I have a combat version, which needs to be on a CV to warp anywhere. Which, that's what we're trying to design. Well, we're trying to build right now. And then we got this one. This is our warp CV. Turn on main bar.
Initiating.
This is our warp CV. It's the Wedge. It's a lightly armored, very fast, almost like a mobile, almost kind of like a mobile base. It's got a fridge on it. It's got a constructor on it. It's got storage on it. It's got an armor stand, and also a oxygen source. And enough fuel to keep it running for quite a while. Turn off main power.
Engaging.
But yeah, that's the, and it has 2 Gatling guns and some locations for putting missile launchers on it too, or whatever weapon I happen to want to have on board it. We also got a tank. It's a light tank and a mobile turret. This is my solution to version 9 when they release it. This is a temporary turret we can go place up in a location where they're attacking from, but we don't have a turret set up yet. So I basically would park that in my weak spot. Just put that there. Bit dangerous with open fuel tanks. Yeah. That was a design feature which I figured that this thing is only meant to go in quick, land somewhere safe, allow me to explore, get resources, stuff like that, and then if things get out of hand, like I get attacked by a drone, I immediately get in this thing and take off. And pretty much most of the armor of this thing is on the bottom, mostly because if I'm going into a location, I'm entering an atmosphere, The last thing I want is to be attacked from below, so that's where most of the armor is anyway. But yeah, this thing is not meant to be in serious combat. It's essentially a scout ship. It's like one step above the Dart, which the Dart is just basically a cockpit with thrusters on it. That's really all it is. This is the combat ship. This thing is hardened steel. Got rocket launchers, Gatling guns, very maneuverable, and all of its soft bits are in the inside here. The real difficulty is trying to design something that looks good and also functions as intended. Yeah, it's been a struggle. Trying to make designs that require the least amount of materials but are the most effective. Yeah, it's been interesting. Okay, we're good on that. So we need to go and gather a bunch of this and a bunch of that. Lithium and neodymium. So we have to make a warp run in case, unless we don't have enough iron, then we have to go and grab some more iron. Yeah, we got two cannons. Well, we got flak. We have those two turrets up here, which I'll show them. I made a series of platforms, both armored and unarmored. So like Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Or like Mark 1 and Mark 2 turrets. These are designed to be their own separate power source with their own separate, they're just a separate base, essentially. We got the Mark 1, which is basically just a turret with a power source and a ammo crate. Very inexpensive, made of just regular steel. And then you got the Mark II, which is armored, which is slightly bigger, uses hardened steel as its structural blocks, and it has defense turrets for ground troops. So if anything gets too close, these things kick in, and this thing takes out anything from the sky. Got surprised one time when Warp SV were just new during my first mat gathering on the other planet. The big control CV decided to turn up, blew off half my ship, barely escaped. Yeah, I hear you. That flak turret is insane. Okay, so the reason I have these two different types rather than just having a bunch of cannons is the idea is that the flak cannon has got the most range other than the artillery piece. The artillery piece has like nearly a kilometer, and in this atmosphere 500 meters. So when I get attacked by drones, this thing kicks in first. And if enough survive to where like we're getting like really attacked, then the cannon kicks in. And then eventually once version 9 comes out, then we'll have a flak turret for them when they're far away, and a cannon when they get too close, and then a minigun if they're right on top of my base. Because, you know, you have enough overlapping fires so that the closer they get, the more guns are able to open up on them. And eventually, when we get to the point where we have, like, giant ships attacking us, like CVs attacking us, that's when we start building things like the artillery gun and missile launchers, which I've already designed. Missile launcher platforms. We got the artillery piece right here, which is just, again, like all the other turrets, just a power source with a turret slapped on top. We got the cannons, we got flak cannons, we got laser turrets, got miniguns, plasma turrets, rocket turrets, and even cheaper versions of the lower tier weaponry. and they're designed to be small, and I can place them anywhere. Eventually here on this playthrough, if we happen to be around long enough for version 9 to come out, we've got this entire area right here, which there's a mountain ridge right around this entire base, and there's like a little valley right here. We're going to place a whole bunch of turrets along the outside so that they can't even shoot my base without going through the turrets first. This is we are out of we have to go and grab some. I'm not gonna go sleep with nearly got enough iron, so looks like we're gonna have enough iron. But the idea of this, having it set up this way, is so that even if I have a turret that's constantly trying to shoot an area and it runs out of ammunition and it just keeps firing, and it doesn't slowly drain the rest of my base of fuel, I can just let a turret, kind of run out of fuel and be backed up by other turrets, rather than having that turret completely cause my entire base to shut down. Also, it makes it a lot harder for drones and other things attacking my base to destroy everything. I don't like having one single point failure. And having one giant base where all the turrets are connected to the same base just means that anyone who can find out where the core is can destroy it, and all my defenses and everything else go down. That's doing here. That's then we'll sleep. And that should finish off the rest of the iron. You can hear that clicking. For some reason, those little brown and green insects that you see at the very beginning of your runs, for some reason they're considered predators. So I can't even turn on the predator function unless I get attacked by something a little bit more dangerous. Those little green insects, those green and brown insects, will just ignore you unless you get too close or you shoot them. And they'll do one of two things. They'll either run away, or some of them will attack you. Which, when they attack you on hard mode, they do 150 damage per melee hit. It's pretty messed up. Extra chore to refill all the turrets and fuel though? I don't mind it. It's guaranteeing that at least a bit of your base is always going to have power versus convenience. So I prefer to always have a living quarters that will always have power and have to just do some running around. I don't care. I just want to make sure that I don't lose like my farms. My farms are only going to grow stuff as long as there's power on them. And because I've only got like 4 lights because I have 4 lights and a growing light on that thing. Oh, and a refrigerator. It barely uses any power. I rarely have to refuel those things, but they'll just continuously make food. Same with this living quarters. The only thing that's actually using power, a lot of power, is this, the food processor, and the constructor. And if I have those turned off, I don't really have to worry about my base losing power. There are 4 lights. Right? And also, once they get to a point where there's space battles, where if you have a base in space, and they start actually throwing wave after wave of enemies at you up there, then space base becomes a lot more interesting because you can make turrets run off of almost complete solar panels, and then have a generator as backup. Makes it very interesting. Then you can surround your space base with space turrets, which I've already designed. They're pretty sweet. Okay, we turned you off. We turned you off. Good. Okay, sleep. Okay, check on the iron here. There we go. Might have enough? Question mark? No. We are down by 1,000. But we need 1,000 more. Turn on main power.
Yes, sir.
So let's get... We need 1,000 iron. That's what we're off by. I've already... Yeah, the game is kind of glitching out right now. Already gotten rid of you. That one's down to 10% left. You are completely empty. Such a polite AI. Yep. Such a polite AI. I'm gonna remove you. I know you're empty. You're not at 100%. There's a medium one down here. Let's go to that one. Over by the damaged alien tower. That one. I wonder if it still works. What are stars? Oh, not working. Okay. There's a bunch of things that I added to the voice attack where you can ask it space-related questions and it gives you an answer, but it doesn't seem to be working right now. Either that or my stuffed nose is causing the voice recognition software to not know what I'm talking about. Ooh. Noises. Many, many noises. It's raining, and it's raining across the entire planet. Yeah, frozen. There we go. Fighters. Okay, iron deposit. Medium iron deposit. Should be able to get fairly easily. This lock.
Engaged.
Trying to get the top part of the deposit so that I only have to go down. I don't have to get out of my vehicle. I've been told that you can make a mining make a mining vehicle that puts giant thrusters on the front of it, which will allow you to go straight down. But I mean, you gotta have to figure out a way to do that without making it incredibly heavy due to extra fuel tanks. Okay. 12 meters in diameter, huh? Well, actually 12 meters in 12 meter radii. Radii? Meter radius. There. That's the correct terminology. Whoa. Hello, you're supposed to be fixed. Aim. Not that hard to figure out, just a matter of thrusting power, yeah. I might make a larger drilling platform. Unlock.
Acknowledged.
One that's got 6 drills on it rather than 4. Because this thing's got literally nothing on it other than, you know, a cockpit with drills on it. Probably make one for longer expeditions. Just in case I need it. Bottom part here. Come on. Do that to me. See if we could get at least most of this without having to get out of our vehicle here. I'm just so glad that we actually have a mining vehicle that's pretty decent. Up until this point, we were struggling just trying to get one that actually works. Got 4 models myself, build for own purposes that way. Yeah, that's why I like designs that have a particular purpose in mind. Gear cells out and on a flat surface so that when we get out of the cockpit and get the rest of this, we don't come crashing down. There we go. Gonna get what I can from here, and then we'll get this drone in, get the rest of it. There we go. This is definitely going to give us enough to be able to, and still have iron left over so we can make other things. Okay. What I'm looking forward to is when they start throwing like other, hostile vehicles at us. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun with that. Because it has its own design it has its own design you have to design your vehicles completely different when you're actually being shot by stuff that can pursue you, rather than just ground troops and a static base. Because the drones don't pursue you very far. They get as far as wherever they spawn, and then they give up. It's a shame. It'd be nice to try and make ships that could do some dogfighting. Well, don't know if well-designed rocket hover tanks are going to be fun for certain hardcore players. Yeah, the rocket tanks. Well, we do have a tank that could survive getting hit by rockets. I mean, the light tank could survive several rockets before it becomes a problem. We've already tested out, the limitations of all the weaponry. Like explosions will only damage one block deep. So if an explosion happens, it will be 3 blocks from the impact zone. So as long as you don't have too many things being 3 blocks in overlap, you'll be fine. And also, if you've got multiple layer thick armor, so you have one layer and then another layer on top of it, they'll have to hit the same spot twice in order to get through the first layer and then the second layer. The only weapon in the game that actually does not follow this rule is the artillery piece, and the artillery piece will actually destroy the block it impacts and cause damage to the block behind it. Pretty messed up. Just like that one moon when the Texas survey covered in rocket troops. I'm just trying to figure out how a survivable tank for that. Yeah, right? Trying to figure that out. That's going to be interesting. Definitely achievable. But trying to figure out placement of weapons and how many layers of armor, because I mean, you're never going to make it in this game. You're never going to make a vehicle that's going to be invincible, but when it comes to things like armor, it's only meant to slow them down so that you have enough time to destroy them, so the damage that's incoming stops. But yeah, there's going to probably be instances where there's going to be just so much nope on the ground that you're just going to have to turn tail and run. But I think the tank that I've designed, the light tank, I think it could probably survive maybe like 2 minutes of constant fire before you have to run away. And if it's rockets, maybe 30 seconds. Which is 30 seconds is actually a lot of time, and it gives you enough time to, back off and get away. And then, replace anything that got destroyed. Because what's important for a tank is to keep you alive so you can figure out a plan. That's really what it's designed to do. I mean, the armor is essentially supposed to be abrasive plating. Because as you said, it needs to be multiple layers. I'd have to be big enough so that the interior is safe from splash damage, and whatever CV brings it down has to be able to defend itself from the same threats. Yes, exactly. Made a tank some time ago as part of the challenge. Never tested its survivability. Yeah. That's one thing I'm trying to figure out for creative when I'm designing these things. I want to be able to have like hostile bases that I can fly these things near or over, just to see how they survive getting hit or avoiding getting hit. Turn off main power.
Initiating.
Which I know you can, in creative, you can give yourself alien cores and place them on the things. I just don't know if I have to provide them with power or ammunition after, or like before I put the alien core in. Oh no. You I got 335 iron. 4. There you go. That might be enough. Here's hoping. Actually, yeah, 3,000. That's 3,000 iron. Yeah, we're gonna have enough. Main buffer is the front so that it's focused to soak damage. Yeah. Having a designated front to a vehicle is definitely important. One thing I do know about all the turrets and the drones in this game, even the ground troops, is that they if you're outside of a vehicle, if you're not in the cockpit, they target you. If you're in a vehicle or in a base, like you're piloting a CV or piloting an SV or piloting an HV, it will target the core, whichever is closer. So if you're standing in front of your vehicle, they're going to target you. But as soon as you go and drop into the cockpit, they're going to target the core of your vehicle. They will ignore your thrusters, they will ignore your generators, they'll ignore your guns. It will always target your core. And pretty much when you're designing something, what I've noticed is that if you put enough layers in front of or on the sides of that core, they'll have to go through all that stuff just to get to your core. So it gives you a slight survivability. That's why this thing is designed the way it is that it's got a thick nose and thick sides. I'm pretty much putting these things on the side to kind of act as layers to where it can't destroy the core, which the core is like located right underneath the cockpit, like right in there. Yeah, I learned early on that putting guns in the nose was the wrong place for them. Yeah, because you're just weakening the nose. It wasn't until we tried to turn this into a combat vehicle, wasn't until I realized that this right here was a huge weak spot for it. We constantly had this part of the vehicle destroyed, and it was destroying the warp core that was right behind it. So That's why this is not combat worthy. It's not a combat worthy design. Just meant to be a cheap transition point. Also, exposed cockpit in the front of the core was the wrong place for the cockpit too. Yeah, that's why, that's why the Fox is designed the way it is. If I'm pointed forward, I have enough thrust power to go left and right to avoid getting hit. But if I want to turn and go much faster, I turn away and I have an entire 3-layer thick side of armor protecting the side of the cockpit. The trick is being fast enough to avoid getting hit from the front. I do like the open cockpits. I like them. I like the look of them. But for tanks, internal all the way. This thing's got many layers. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 layers before it even gets close to where the cockpit is, and right beneath the seat is the core. As long as this thing doesn't flip over, which it's pretty wide, so it rarely flips over, but as long as it doesn't flip over and I get hit by a shell, it's fine. But that makes sense because that's typical for real life tanks too. Real life tanks have very little armor beneath it. Unless you're more of like an Abrams tank, which certain Abrams tanks and also personnel carriers have got armor underneath them too, in case they get hit by mines, but this game doesn't have mines. They might eventually, and then my design will have to completely change, but hardened steel or combat steel on your tank there? Hardened steel. Because there's no, unfortunately, there's no combat steel for hovercraft. I wish there was. At least not yet. They haven't added it. Yeah. Wish there was. Yeah, they got hardened for hovercraft. Oh, they do. Combat steel. Okay, never mind. There is now. No combat steel for SVs, only for HVs. Okay, well, there it is. We could do that on the heavy tank, though. We've got a light tank and we got a heavy tank. The heavy tank, which is called the Atlas, is our much larger tank right here. This thing's got 3 rocket turrets rather than the 2. I think I remember. Did I make this one of combat steel? I might have not. Which is good, because then this thing could be upgraded and it'll be better than the. It will increase the difference in between the heavy tank and the light tank. Which is good. But the heavy. Oh. Low on food. Oh my god. Because I want to have a clear difference in between the two. You are very hungry. There we go. Yeah, because when it comes to a lot of the vehicles, if it's an upgrade, I want it to be better than the previous version. And that's what the heavy tank is. The Atlas is a upgrade of the Hercules, which is our light tank, which we already have. We haven't had a need for the heavy tank yet. Unless we go and try to take out the defense turrets. There's the radar tower, the listening post, the radar tower. That's, I think it's over here. No, it's over here. Yeah, over here. Probably over and down in here. That's probably where the, because usually when you see a defense 3, that usually means there's something heavily defended over there. had my tank build and hardened and had good speed, then patch came out and converted it, really lost my good speed, but stronger. Yeah. Well, that's why. What are we doing here? Have we? I don't think we've turned on. Did we? Did we or did we not? Look here. Access. Ah. Got something. Wait for those burgers to finish. There we go. Waiting for that to be 1,000, and then we'll have all the iron we need. Then we have to go and get ourselves. We have to make a warp trip. Yeah, I know I'm getting hungry. There. Finally. Like a third one. We're eventually going to have to expand our farm. I mean, this is great for just having straight up burgers all the time, but the dino stew is the best food in the game. It would be nice to have unlimited dino stew to choose from. Because it both pretty much puts you up to full food, but also heals you for quite a bit. It's like 200 health per dino stew. It's pretty good. I don't like that glitch. Really don't. Ugh. Ration packs are good too. Yeah, because they don't spoil. Yep. Yeah, I would have to expand the farm to the point of where we have all the ingredients for the ration packs. Which I think is probably like 6 farms dedicated to one plant or another. Right? Ration packs are water generator, hot beverage, which is the buds. So we need water, bud plants, fruit plants, plant protein, or just our vegetable plants, and spice plants. Water, bud, fruit, protein. Nice. Huh. Yeah. About 5 farms for it. We'd have to make 3 more. We'd have to make 3 more farms. We'd have to over double the size of our farm area right there. About to be nighttime. That's good. What about one big farm? I guess we could do like 2 medium farms, the mountainside farms. Or yeah, we could make a large farm in survival, in creative, and then make a blueprint of it. You'd have to figure out how to do it to where there would be enough open space. There's a bunch of pillars. Trying to visualize what that would look like. How I could make it to where it look cool. But yeah, it would be like 6. Be like a 2x3 area. So 3x3 plots, so 9 blocks. have 2 columns. 1 plot,
Freezes.
2 plot, 3 plot. I think it's doable, yeah. Once you figure out the ratio is perfectly doubled, yeah. Base farm for maximum solar, yeah. You have to. I gotta figure out a good way of making to where we would progress up to a space base. At what point would we start making space? The only downside is that you never get attacked in space. So, fortunate. Oh, okay, we got all the iron we need. Now we're just missing like a ton of Sathium and Neodyme. Sathium's gonna be easy. Neodyme might be a little more difficult. Because I think that one doesn't, yeah, that one doesn't come in clusters. Sathium ore is pretty easy to get my hands on. Anyway, turn you off. We're about time to sleep, and then we're gonna be making a warp trip. I think we got enough. I think we got enough warp crystals for the trip. Come on, there we go. We got enough drill. We got enough drill charges for the trip. Deconstruct? Yeah. We'd have to get a deconstructor. You know, the real question is like, turn on main power.
Yes, Captain.
If it's worth making the trip. Well, going back and forth in between, you know, getting combat steel and building the constructor. Double check here. All okay. Make sure I have enough. I don't think I have enough. Because, yeah, we're gonna need to get more crystals. We're gonna have to make a trip to the moon real quick. Get enough crystals so that we can get back. Turn off main power.
Yes, sir.
Kind of low on crystals right now. So eventually get some spare components from points of interest to build a deconstructor. Then things like tier 2 generators and furnaces make good sources for stuff. He dies once, he has to start over, and he almost got everything set on hard. Yeah, pretty much. Hey, Osmer, how's it going? Yeah, that's why we have to be careful about what we go and attack. Here, okay. Sleep. Oh, the best point of interest of the abandoned mine. Oh no. Anything with abandoned on it is just Scorpion City. I don't know how to do it without taking any damage. Let me guess. Dig a hole, find the control block, destroy it, place your own in there, and have all the turrets destroy everything in sight. That's a funny way of spelling weapons bunker. I do it every day. No digging holes. Park your giant ass ship, CV ship, with tons of turrets on the bottom and blow it into oblivion. aka nuke it from orbit. Turn on main power.
Yes, Captain.
We'll just know where the spawners are and a few tricks. Ah. Yeah. Space. To space. It takes a while. Okay, so we're gonna go off to the moon, get ourselves enough warp crystals so that we, you know, aren't completely SOL after we get all this material. Come on, there we go. I'm gonna tab out, tab back in, just to make sure that my mouse isn't on the outside of the game. Okay, there's a trading hub, droid vessel. The moon's on the other side of the planet. Great. Yeah, I haven't come across an abandoned mine, so I would have no idea what to do. I think the closest thing to anything abandoned was we found an abandoned reactor, and we found an abandoned reactor, and we found an abandoned what's it called? Factory. Yeah, abandoned factory. That's it. We haven't found any abandoned mines yet. I've come across an abandoned space station. That was messed up. Abandoned factory. Keep in mind that we have to, when it comes, well, actually, yeah, deconstructing. Wait, what are you? You're a cobalt asteroid. I saw you. Sweet. And you're a weapons platform. 2 of them. Okay, yeah, we're gonna just move down. Thank you very much. The abandoned factory is insane hard. Yeah, we tried going into it. We couldn't get very far. We got the top area cleared out, but we couldn't make it down into the deep depths of it. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I feel like I'm gonna have to make a specialized vehicle for taking on abandoned anything. Yeah, it's a massive tease, right? I bet. Okay, we got fuel, we got oxygen, we're good. And the core room has 4 scorpion spirals. Oh, screw that. Oh man, that's horrible. Okay, cobalt. We don't need cobalt. What we need warp crystals. And we need enough to allow us to get back. Probably gonna go for like 10 crystals. Probably just gather all the ones that are on the surface here. Oh, high impact. Oh. Well, we got heavy armor now, so we don't have to worry about dying to radiation, so we can be here a lot longer. Yay, heavy armor. Oh, the jetpack isn't even on. Okay. Explains a lot. Okay. Fly around, get some crystals here. Like 1 per. Just need to get 10 of them. That'll give us 20 crystals, which will allow us to get back. I could try to make a video on how to do the abandoned mine if you want. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'd probably save it until I actually try to attempt it myself and possibly die in the process. Just so that makes things interesting. Because that's the fun part, is just trying to see if you can attempt it without help, and then if you die in the process, then you go, okay, now let's learn how to do this properly. I need to find a new one. Yeah. If anything, I'm quite sure a lot of people who would let, if you upload it to YouTube, I'm quite sure a lot of people would love to know how to get through that kind of how to deal with an abandoned something. Instead, if it didn't involve things like shoot out these 8 combat seal blocks. Right? Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get a bunch of rockets and shoot through the wall. Okay. How are we doing? Got 8 of them. I think 2 more. Oh, look, a cobalt deposit. You gonna attack us? Yeah, I've always interested in legit runs through points of interest. Oh yeah, point of interest as it's intended, exactly. Yeah, because it's way more interesting to go through it the way it was supposedly intended to be played, because it's usually harder that way. Like those really trolly ones. The trolly ones are always very interesting, because they have usually a ton of trapdoors and stuff like that. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, 11? We're good. Actually, I could just use the onboard constructor. Or I can't. Okay. That's unfortunate. Whatever. Let's go back. The only one thing is that it shoots through the top floor window with my SV to destroy the spawner there. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of things that when it comes to points of interest I have to get used to doing is shooting up the proper things before I send in the tank to kick in the door. That's generally fine, as that can be done on foot anyway. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much the tactic I've been using is go there in an armored SV, take out all of the... Oh, hey, Okatone. Go to a point of interest, destroy all the big turrets with the... Destroy all the big turrets with the SV, the large turrets, and then go on, go back, grab the tank, and drive it up to the front door and just park it there. And use that as kind of like a forward base. Not a good video to just see someone drill out under a core or sit there dropping C4 on combat steel for half an hour. And then mine has no big turrets outside. Ah, okay. Yeah, I forget to use the drone to scout around before I, enter in an area. I do forget to do that. But hey, go into a point of interest and it's surprise, you're dead. Surprise. Worst ever surprise ever. It's like, what'd you learn today? I learned check my corners before I enter a room, or you dead. You dead. Okay, let's go turn this into crystal so that we can head on out. And while it's making the crystals, I'll make a bunch of food so I don't starve while I'm out there. There we go. Turn off main power.
Acknowledged.
There we go. Jetpack back on. Which doesn't really mean much with heavy armor. Oh. I was on I was on the wrong setting. Okay. That's right. Oh yeah, that's it. That is right. Okay. There. Turn on main power.
Initiating.
Okay. What did I learn today? I learned I hate scorpions. The only good bug is a dead bug. Yeah, currently right now this is completely out of power. Get the fire moss out of here. Turn off constructor to save power. Yeah, well, it's currently turning crystal into warp fuel, so always have over half health when moving parasites. Yeah, because you'll get hit by the bleed afterwards, the open wound. That will instantly kill you. Well, close to killing you. Drop. There we go. Burger. Turn on. Yeah. Yeah, the constructor on board that thing is pretty much... I mean, those smaller constructors don't really burn that much power anyway. Have to go now for now. No problem. Thanks for coming and hanging out, customer. Eat that real quick. Quitch. What kind of a word is that? I don't know. Okay. Food. We require it. We require lots of it. Drop another one in there just in case. Got like 16 water containers, and each one is about 10 purified water. Okay, so we need to make a bunch of, thinking probably making a bunch of energy bars to bring with us, just to keep us topped off. Bunch of these, only 5 of them. Go up there, check on their crystals. They should be done. Yep, they're done. Okay. Oh. Do this. Turn off main power. Turn off main power.
Confirmed.
Eesh. Okay. Go get our food. And then we'll get out of here. Get our food and get out of here. We need a ton of tier 2 materials here. So we can get this CV up and running. So that would be great. Oh. Is the power on that one? No, it is. It's good. Okay. Boop boo. Finish, please. Finish, please. And then I got the 5 protein bars that we'll just carry with us. Get all the materials, the last bit of materials we need to be able to get this thing made, which we need 3,200 sathium and 1,200 neodyme. That's a lot. Quite a bit. But that shouldn't take us too terribly long to get, because it's like for each craft of ore into ingots, you get like 10 ingots. So we really have to make 120. About that. Around there. Gimme. Forever. I hear a gun trying to shoot those insects nearby. Okay, as soon as it starts the last one, I'll clear this all out and put it into the fridge. And turn it off afterwards. There we go. As it finishes that, then I'll grab everything. There. There we go. Once this is finished, turn it off, get the hell out of here. Get our materials. There we go. There you go. Go. You off? You're off. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's have a extra backup one. There. Turn on main power. Turn on main power.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Let's go. We are ready to go. Yeah, wait till we're in space. Auto brake. Go to the map here. This one. And we've been to this place. That's where Alpha Station right next to it, which is pretty cool. We're gonna save that for later, though. Yeah. Currently locked on target. Get ourselves up to full speed. And punch it.
Preparing for jump.
There we go. Here's hoping that loads in and doesn't crash the game. There we go. We got oxygen on board, so we don't need it. You know, we're good on oxygen. Got about 6 energy. If we need to, we can always go to the trade station nearby, the one in orbit. Or the one on the surface to get ourselves some food. A jump screenshot? Yeah, they changed it to where there's a screenshot of you going through a wormhole. I'm hoping that they make it animated. It would be a lot cooler if your warp was like a different play field where it's just you going through a warp tunnel with your ship there. That'd be cool. To the surface. Yeah, it's probably a combination of they want to concentrate on other things rather than putting the final polish on it. That's probably why they haven't implemented it yet. I'm quite sure once we get to the final steps before the beta, they're probably going to start putting a little bit more polish into the game. But right now it's just trying to add everything. Oh, there's a neodyme deposit, but we're going to go to the ones we've already dug a hole in. As someone who has gone and gotten himself a degree in game design, I'm much more likely to look over small things like that. But once it gets further in development and it gets further to final release, then the list of things I'm willing to overlook is going to get really short. Seems like years away still. Yeah, that's development cycle. I mean, on average, it takes a AAA studio 7 years to complete one game usually. So this is an indie studio, so it's probably going to take even longer. Just kind of how it is. As long as they keep bringing, as long as this game keeps going in the right direction, I'm willing to keep playing it and coming up with ways of coming up with the most cheapest, efficient way possible to play it. And also test the limitations of all the components. Oh, there we go. Got the little golems nearby. Okay, I think we're good. Just make sure that none of the golems are going to attack us. Okay, we're good. I think if we grab most of this, we should be fine. We might grab all of this and then go to one of the other ones that we've dug into. That should give us enough. But yeah, pretty much when it comes to games, if I have issue with a particular thing, it's mostly because it would have been very easy to implement. And it's like, why didn't you add this at the very beginning? Too cold. Oh, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons right now. Okay. Exit out. I like this. Getting too cold. Okay. We have... We don't. Didn't bring the... Huh. I did not bring the... portable heater cooler. I didn't bring it. And I was hoping that the heavy armor was going to be enough temperature to keep us warm. Negative 41. Is it negative? Wow, 10 degrees difference. Wow. Hitting all the wrong buttons, hence you turned on voice activation. Yeah. Yeah. 51. It's just 10 degrees of beyond our resistance. We have no choice. Well, that sucks. Is there anything on our vehicle that is going to allow us to keep our temperature up? I'm going to see what is on our vehicle that could give us a slight change in degrees here. That's 100 degrees. No. That brings us down to 41. Got nothing that can keep us at least semi-warm on our vehicle. 42. This goes even colder. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh. You could build a portable heat generator. Yeah, we just have to find we have to find copper and iron in order to do that. Wonder if there's rocks on the surface of this place. Or hey, Mr. Golem, get over here. Better drop some iron. I need iron and I need copper. Well, you know, there we go. Jetpack, please. There we go. Okay. The golems have graced us with the materials needed to make a portable heater. There we go. Stay inside the ship. God, it's so unfortunate too. It's like off by 10 degrees. Off by 10 degrees. That's just messed up. There we go. We're waiting on that. I think we're gonna have to go over to the shuttle place and buy some food. Because the hard mode food making us burn through our I'm gonna call it calories. I'm sick and tired of calling it food. Like, it's calories. Because that's what it should be called. It should be called calories. Because that's what it says on that's what it says on the tin for every other survival game. For calories. Yes. The calories we're burning is really, really fast due to hard mode. Granted, it should, if we're gonna go for calories, you know, it should be 2,500 calories, but I guess each point of calorie is like 5. Well, each point in this game is like 5 calories. I like burning through it really quickly, faster than I was expecting. So. But when it comes to this game, I would really like them to gear towards more survival rather than sandbox, but that's just my opinion. If they don't do it, I hope some modders do. I'd like to see a bunch of mods come out that turn this into a hardcore survival experience. And when I mean hardcore, I'm talking like I've played games like The Long Dark, which is a winter survival game where you're not able to build shelters, you have to find shelters. Yeah. Because there's already enough space building games. I mean Kerbal Space Program, Stationeers, there's enough of those. But if we could have one that's like all about, you know, hardcore survival, and it also allows us to build vehicles to survive on different planets, I'm all on board on that one. There's quite a lot of control with respect to setting up scenarios. Yeah, having a combination of mods made by the community and also custom scenarios. Like, I discovered one that was released recently on the workshop that you start out with 0. It completely removes the starter biome, and you start out in a swamp. That sounds like fun. I like that. It'd be pretty cool for them to have it to where you can choose which biome you start in. I'd start in the desert. That sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like they're all fun though. Definitely challenging. Which it kind of does let you choose which biome you start in, but it lets you choose the planet you start on. And if it has oxygen or not. Okay, we got like 2,000 Sathium. I think we may not have to go to another deposit. Probably gonna have enough right here. The acquired tech, which should be found, researched first, needs to trigger enemies and environmental challenges. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Yeah. Having to find the blue, basically having to find the schematics for everything and then research it. I would love that. That would be pretty cool. You know, find wrecks where you find the, rather than salvaging the equipment, you have to scan it first, which allows you to get the blueprint. Kind of like what they did in Subnautica, where you had to go around and find the destroyed remnants of something, and you just kind of like scan it to get the blueprint. That'd be cool. Or if they want to keep the tech tree, making it to where we have to scan tech to get tech points that we can spend, rather than, you know, having the levels. And have, as it goes further down the tech tree, it's more and more expensive for tech points. I don't know, something like that. Something like that. I wouldn't want them to completely rip off Subnautica, though. But something similar would be nice. A little bit more. What are we doing? I think, yeah, I think in this one deposit's going to be more than enough for what we need. You have to go and find a neodyme deposit. Neoderm deposit. That thing is, all these ideas have been suggested. Great TLC already. It don't seem to pick up. Yeah. 8.9, they're going to add shared inventory. So in other words, you'll be able to put a storage container down and have multiple constructors pull from the same one. They do plan on adding that one. I saw the screenshot and I was just like, that looks like shared storage. And if it's what I think it is, that's going to be awesome. Because it would be nice to have multiple constructors pulling from and depositing into the same storage area. So you could have multiple constructors working on similar projects. That'd be very useful. And besides, if the developer doesn't add it, I'm quite sure that the community would add it for it, because I wouldn't be surprised if this game spikes a community much like Minecraft, where you have a community of mod developers who add and subtract things that they want to have in the game. As long as they don't hinder that community of modders, it'll be fine. That would be a very dumb thing for a developer to do, to realize that they have a sandbox game. It's a sandbox game. And that community wants to add features to the game, and for them to block it. Nothing good has ever happened to any game ever that has not allowed their community to adapt the game they like. Having a modding community around your game just increases the replay value of that game tremendously. Like infinitely. As long as they keep making mods for it. That's why Minecraft lasted so long. The modding community. If there was no modding community around Minecraft, it would have died long ago. Long ago. Which is something that I've ran into with a lot of developers around here, is that some of them just don't seem to get that concept. Like, but my vision. It's like, screw your vision, man. You got enough people who like your game enough they want to make it better. And they're willing to do it for free outside of your game. Let them do it. Oh, shoot. Nope, 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 nope. Ow, no, no, no. Go away. Holy crap. Yeah, we're good. Okay, you jerk. I was busy, motherfucker. Well, we know they don't hit hard. They hit me like 3 times and only did 200 damage. That was close. Okay, I think we've gotten enough. I don't think we need any more of it. Besides, I should probably go and heal up. Which there's a shuttle hub, so we can heal up over there. That was close. Instantaneous. Good thing we had the heavy armor on. If we didn't have the heavy armor on, we'd probably be dead right now. Take an opportunity to top off our oxygen and heal ourselves up for free. Then we'll go and find the neodyme deposit and grab what we can. Because currently right now we got like 3,000 units of ore. I think that's more than enough. Over to the shuttle hub. Wonder why they haven't let golems throw stones or whatever element they spawn from at you, since they're so slow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they haven't made it to where they can throw stuff at you. It'd definitely make them a little bit more formidable. Having an ability that only unlocks when you put it on hard. If you put it onto hard mode for enemies difficulty, it unlocks that feature to where they start throwing stuff at you. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty sweet. I would love that. It'd mean you have to completely change your playstyle to deal with them if you see them. Kind of like how the certain enemies will spit acid, spit acid at you. Which that acid causes a lot of damage, especially to structures. Which would mean if that stone hit you, it'd just stun you. Which would make a lot of sense. That. Okay. Nothing at all. Whatever. Phantom arrows, I guess. Make our way all the way to the shell hub. Exactly. Imagine those ice golems make you slow reaction speed plus damage, etc. Yeah, right? I'd like that. Definitely make it interesting. First thing I hope they do is let us change target color. Yeah, that would be nice. Where you could have deposits be one color, you know, dangerous, you know, points of interest another color. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's something I wish they would do. Because I like color coding, make it nice and easy to recognize what is what just by looking around. Oh, hi there. There we go. Gun target color, so you can see in white screen. Oh yeah, being able to change the target reticle. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, currently white and white snow, it just kind of disappears. Shuttle hub. We'll land here. Fill up our oxygen. I do have oxygen on board, but I'm gonna just use the free stuff here. Turn off main power.
Affirmative.
Oxygen, please. More oxygen, please. Thank you. Okay. Can't buy from you. Where is the... Somewhere around here. Oh yeah, I left cement here. I've already been here. Trying to figure out where the... Yeah, those are decorative. Just go to the plant store, I guess. There might be food in here. Public access. Constructor. Expecting food here. Oh well, there's a station up in orbit. Probably go there. And if I left anything, probably not. Oh well. What's up? You feel comfortable and satisfied. Yay. Oh, I've already seen this one. Okay. Armor. Expecting a health station around here. Apparently there isn't one on this station. Kinda weird. Oh well. I guess I'll just have to use this then. Health back. A little bit of healing there. There we go. Turn on main power.
Confirmed.
There we go. Go find our... There's a missile silo over there. There's our neodyme right next to the crashed back. Go to that one. because it's right nearby, relatively nearby. Off we go. The cool thing about the neodymium deposits is that they're very shallow, usually very shallow. They're not very deep underground, so it doesn't take that very long to dig it up. At this rate, we're probably going to be into designing tomorrow. Designing late game. We've put it off long enough. We need to figure out something. Which I'm thinking is going to be two parts. One, it's going to be completely underground base, which is I thought about making it in one piece, but I'm probably going to do the same thing that we've done for all the surface stuff, which is going to be in pieces, and we just connect them by digging out tunnels. And also making ourselves a large CV, which I'm probably going to, they've even designed it out on paper, a kind of like a Lego set kind of a CV where it's got components that can dock and attach to it for late game. Oh yeah, this is one we've already been to. Nope. Okay. Take care of these guys too. Level 14 reached. Oh yeah, this is perfect timing. I knew it. Level 15 is probably the early gone into late game. Probably gonna work out just fine. Good. Double checking, making sure there's nothing else hostile nearby. There's a certain aggro range for these guys, so trying to make sure I'm not within it. $17, that's fine. Our giant, massive neodymium deposit here. This would be a lot faster if we had the mining vessel, but we need the CV first before we can do this. Once we get our light transport ship, then we can start bringing our mining vessel over here and just really start cranking out. We can also bring it to the moon too, so that will allow us to get a bunch of cobalt too. Grab as much of this as we can. Ideally, I want an entire stack of this stuff. That should give us more than enough. Just remember that underground doesn't mean safe from attack. Once train unloads, enemies can directly attack as if the ground isn't there. What we need is wildlife that are able to attack airborne vehicles. Things like Starship Troopers. Yeah, right? Yeah. And about the can attack the underground bases, pretty much everything unloads when you're 2 kilometers away. So if you're 2 kilometers away from your base, it unloads everything, even your base. So your base can't even get attacked because it's technically not there. That's what they changed in a recent update. They changed how it loads things in, because when you're far enough away, the base isn't there anymore. in order to like save resources on the game. For multiplayer, I've lost bases to every nearby enemy turrets in 8.6. Don't know if they fixed in 8.7 or not. Yeah, they recently changed it to where, in order to save computer resources, they've changed it to where if you're 2 kilometers away from a structure, the structure unloads. It's still, you know, the waypoint's still there, but it unloads it, and basically it's like the terrain isn't even there. It doesn't even load terrain. It's just kind of non-existent. Yeah, they changed it to where it's 2 kilometers, it unloads things. Kind of like what they do in KSP, if you've ever played that game. In KSP, when you're like, but they go a little bit further. If you're a certain number of kilometers away from a target, it unloads the meshes. As soon as you get within that range, it loads the meshes, but it doesn't load the physics for it. As soon as you get within, I think it's like 200 meters away from a target, then it loads in physics in order to reduce the strain. And KSP is a game that requires a lot of processing power. So this game kind of does something similar, but there's no like physics, so it just completely unloads the structure altogether. So I'm like really far away from my base, and I don't have to worry about drone attacks at all. It will only happen once I get close enough to it. I can be away from my base. Now, if you're on a multiplayer server, that doesn't stop a player from being a jerk and just kind of hanging out by your base and allowing, you know, drones to all of a sudden show up. Doesn't stop that. Not a anti-troll feature by any sense. But in single player, it's very useful because you don't have to worry. If you're away from your base, you don't have to worry about it being completely, you know, destroyed completely. And really, the only thing I have to worry about in single player is the drones attacking my base. As long as I'm there and there's turrets that destroy them from the angle that they're coming from, doesn't matter. So that's the thing. I had a fully underground base, the fortification base respawn, and took it out while I was gone. No hole in the ground to indicate it was shot from the ground. Oh, there. Yeah, that's probably your issue. Is that you were on a server where stuff like that respawns, and I'm guessing what happened is another player got close enough to your base to end that fortification to where it was enough to have it shoot your base, but the terrain wasn't exactly collidable yet. Yeah, it's kind of an issue for multiplayer. Yeah, I would have to completely that's what I was saying, is that I'm probably going to have to redesign a lot of vehicles for multiplayer rather than single player. Because the rules have changed. As soon as you go into multiplayer, the rules have changed. That's what I meant with respect to underground not entirely being safe. Yeah, when it comes to not being entirely safe, as long as I put my underground base in a location to where I don't have to worry about other points of interest dealing with it, it should be fine. It's designed for surface now so that my base is adequately defended regardless. That's true. Hey, Nessa, how's it going? How you doing? Here. Nearly a stack of this stuff. Get ourselves up to 900. I think we are good. Hundred. Yeah, it's almost like the game is going to have like a completely separate, or come up with a solution that can make it to where structures in multiplayer servers can have like an extra degree of loading, so that a structure doesn't become hostile until a player is within a certain range. It might have to be like 500 meters, because that's like the yeah, an alien base, 500 meters. I haven't seen a single alien base that has had artillery on it, so 500 meters would probably be a good spot for an enemy base to become hostile. So if a player is like more than 500 meters, then the guns don't even fire, even if there's something close, even if there's a player base close enough to it to where it could fire upon it. That would at least take care of the traffic issue, where if a player happens to go by the enemy structure, but maybe it like prioritizes the player more rather than player blocks. Sometimes I fear for the future of the game, since they are attaining the ceiling of processing capability. Yeah, it's mostly because, they're adding stuff. They're constantly adding stuff to the game, and once they get to beta, the beta test is when they start optimizing the game. So once they've added all the stuff that they plan on adding to the game, they go from alpha to the beta. Once they go into the beta, that's when they start trying to optimize everything they've just added to the game that they are eventually going to have in the release. And when it's in the beta, that's when they stop adding stuff to the game. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to have in the game. We're not adding anything more. Let's start optimizing the game and make it run smoothly and require as little resources as possible. That's what usually beta means. That's why when you're doing a beta test of a game, when you're invited to be a part of a beta, they're only optimizing the game. They're not adding anything new. There's rarely ever a point in time in a beta where they actually add something new to the game. They'll subtract things from the game. They'll definitely subtract things from the game. If they find out that a particular feature is just not going to work, like Subnautica in beta, it had terraforming in it. During their beta testing, they decided, you know what, this is just not going to work, so they removed terraforming from the game completely. And yeah, and the final release, ran a lot smoother. I'm hoping that they can figure out how to make it to where terraforming works really well. I'd hate for them to have to remove it, but if they have to, they have to. I'm hoping that they don't. There's very few games that actually have terraforming anything at all. But, I mean, technically, if SimCity and City Skylines can have terraforming, I mean, they could hopefully get it to work here. Okay, we're good. Get out of here. Nope. Sometimes. Oh, I've returned. Hey, Osmer, how's it going? I have returned. Orders, Captain. Orders received. I'd love to eventually see a sequel to Sim Earth. I've heard of Sim Earth. I haven't actually used it, but I have heard of it. Okay, go into here, fill all. Okay, go into sector map. Lock our target for home. Pistols up to full speed. Turn off the auto brake and punch it. Punch it.
Preparing for quantum leap.
Time for me to head off. Time to make some dinner. Have a nice stream. Thanks for hanging out, Big Feet. Hope you have a good day. Okay, so we've got like 300 food left. Eat that real quick. Okay, 300. Good. So we got pretty much over a stack of neodyme. We got like 3 stacks of Sathium, so I think we have enough to be able to just get ourselves our capital ship. I gotta come up with a solution to take out those enemy space stations. By the way, the video I mentioned I would make won't probably be the best quality. I use the Windows built-in recorder. Oh yeah, I hear you. What's ahead? Civilization, rise of a robotic civilization, then gave way to intelligent plant life. The different planet scenarios are pretty cool. I bet. Yeah. Okay, let's go around. Okay. Yeah, I met a guy who developed the universe sim, the universe simulator, where you're able to spawn in planets and suns and have them orbit. He gave me like a free copy. I don't know what happened to that free copy though. Yeah, it was like a little business card. Noids! Nothing but noids. Turn our brakes back on. Yeah, let's land ourselves over by our hangars. And turn off main power. Turn off main power.
Initiating.
There we go. Okay. Grab all the stuff we got. When I enter planets, I tend to flatten out to make sure I didn't enter a top of point of interest that can destroy me. Yeah, I've gotten into the habit of only entering the atmosphere from places of water because there seems to be very few points of interest that spawn on water. So I guess probably never. I think it probably never got very popular because it wasn't very graphically relative to other sim offerings. And it was pretty challenging. Just get good diversity going. Yeah, biodiversity. Yeah. Drop you off. Drop you off. Move you off. Drop you off. There we go. Yeah, let's drop this into here. So this one will work on you. Oh wait, that's right. We can only do basic materials. We can't do tier 2 materials. But we have to put it here. Yeah. Turn it on. Do this. 1,000. Let's just go with that. Shrine, sorry. The temple is above water. It has 8 turrets on it. Oh, the shrine? Yeah. I haven't come across that thing yet. I've come across the temple. I haven't come across the shrine yet. You never know, I might run into it eventually. Burger. On. Let's make sure we have enough fuel on our base here. Okay, 23. Wait. There. Got a couple of things running at the same time, so I know I have a bunch of fuel over in my tank that I haven't unloaded onto my base. Jumping! Lots of jumping. All the jumping. Because we picked up a bunch of fuel from the weapons bunker. There they are. Jumping. Oh yeah, for those of you who are wondering what the heck that thing is, that is my subscriber monument. So for every single person who subscribes, even once, even if you only do 1 month, I put your name up on there. That's what it is. I figured I'd put at least something that I could spawn into every single playthrough. That's relatively cheap. I mean, it's mostly stone. And it's meant to look like a marble monument. Got some lights on it and everything. And it's something that every single time I add a name, I immediately save it. Now I wish I had money. That's okay. It's not a requirement. It's just for those who decide to do the little bit of support. I'm kind of I have a full-time job outside of this, so it's not a requirement. But eventually, someday, I hope to kind of go into this full-time because I don't exactly like my job. But yeah, Nessa, you're on there. Nessa's name is on there. Because I do remember way back when. Okay. So we're waiting on the ingots right now. And then we could get our first CV, a light transport, on board. Yeah, back when I was playing Subnautica, my what I did for subscribers is I would build them their own base, and depending on how many months they were subscribed, I would add an extra room onto it. By the way, when did the abandoned mine today? I got 9 automine cores and 2 constructors. Wow. Yeah, when we went and assaulted the weapons bunker, we got 10. We got 10 auto miner cores. I sold like all but 3 of them for credits. Actually, all but 2. Yeah, I got 2 remaining. But since we have the mining vehicle, this is just faster. And 2 constructors. Ooh, we only found 1. We got 2. Nice. Gonna have to upgrade this thing eventually to. Ooh, wait. They're adding all this in there. Ooh, 200 away from. And we're gonna hopefully have enough Sathium to finish it off. Anyway. On the multiplayer server that I play on, I have about 30 tier 3 autos. Not all are used. 35 maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that was the biggest issue I had with the auto miners on our casual playthrough, which we still have to save for. I went and set up a whole bunch of tier 3 auto miners, and I had in that save we had the difficulty of fuel. I had a hard time trying to keep them fueled and keep them running, and we had like 15 of them. I was just struggling to keep them all fueled, so I was just like, it was just not worth it. Maybe if I, happen to go on a full-on binge where I just go completely crazy on trying to find promethium pellets, then maybe, but there we go. Yeah, that should be... Oh, nearly there. I have 5 on promethium and 15 water generators, so I can make fusion cells. Yeah. Putting a fusion cell on each. I need to get myself to a point where I can make a ton of fusion cells. Recently, it wasn't until recently I started to get into the habit of having water generators. And I've been pretty good at trying to keep on top of that. Hydrogen bottles, output count 2. So for 1 craft, it outputs 2 of them. 50 protein pellets. So yeah, it's much better than the large fuel packs. Gives you way more fuel, double the amount. That's like 600 kilowatt hours. I also never used water generators. Yeah, it wasn't until probably the last playthrough, which we died on, I started actually using water generators. And yeah, they're very useful. They really are. Let's repair you up real quick. There we go. There we go. Okay. We're full up on that. Now we're just waiting on Sathium ingots, which I'm going to stop all these crafts of. Yes, right into Sathium ingots. I mean, I used one so I can make O2. Yeah, the O2 canisters. That was the main reason why I started actually making them, is so that I could make the larger O2 canisters. That alone is very useful. What would be really nice for them to make in the game is another item that you can have that turns water into H2O canisters and hydrogen canisters. So it's a distiller, or what do we call it? Distillation, or whatever. I don't know what's called. But where it puts electric current, it requires power, turns on electric current and turns water into hydrogen canisters and O2 canisters. I don't like the water contains makes both O2 and H2. Yeah, that would be nice. Having a device that does that. So you can take those water crates, drop them into this device, and it just makes O2 and H2. That'd be cool. They should really do that. But I don't know. If they don't do it, a mod developer would. What you said, yeah. Yeah, if the developers don't do it, I'm quite sure a mod developer would. Because that's just seems like something that would be blatantly obvious. Like, wow, we should really have this. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna drop that into here. I'm gonna put the tier 2 drill. I'm gonna replace one of the drills on the mining vessel with a tier 2. Why? Because, well, we have one. Retrieve one of these. And as we find them, we'll add more onto it. And at least until we happen to get our hands on... Until we happen to get our hands on the blueprint for it. Which I think we might, maybe? Other vessel... no. We have to get to level 20. Never mind. A lopside drilling. Yeah. Yeah. Or I could do this. I could probably put a 5th one on top. What we could do. Yeah, we'll do that. That will increase our capabilities a little bit. I'm just hoping that it doesn't require too much power. That one's not retractable. Oh yeah, that one's... Yeah. Yeah. Let me check here. See here, tier 1 laser, 500, 250. Okay, it's just okay, it's 50 kilowatts more. Yeah, that's okay. Then that's not bad. Not bad. I'm at the tier 1 OCD trigger. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just gonna make sure that we have enough power to run that. So energy out 50 megawatts. Oh, wrong one. Generator, how much power does this generate? 1.8 megawatts. So the 4 requires 1 megawatt. 1.3. Okay, yeah, we just barely are gonna... It's barely gonna be enough. It's fine. So we don't have to add another generator. Good. And the tier 1. The one you put on the back. Oh, you're talking about the one we put on the top? So... Chuck it like that. These are retractable by default. There's no way to not make it. There's no like solid version. It was just the color. Yeah, when you I have it for the blueprints, they're white, but when I replace it back on, it turns it into the solid gray color. Yeah. How are we doing? Okay, 1,300, nearly 1,400. Quick. Vegetable. Eat that real quick. Actually, I don't... No, we're good. We're fine. Sorry about that. No, that's not a problem. There, you know, I wouldn't consider myself an expert at this game, but I've been playing long enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if I missed something. That's just kind of how this me and playing games goes. Or I'll be like doing something, and all of a sudden I'll miss something, and you guys will say something about it, and be like, "Oh shoot, I forgot." Okay, we're halfway there. Still got a ways to go. Okay. Yeah, we're like about 5 minutes away from sunset. Yeah. I think I'm probably gonna go over to the advanced space. I'm gonna go to the advanced spaceport, and I'm gonna use the Fox to clear it out, because I do plan on going and checking that place out. Turn on main power. Turn on main power.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah, just clear out all the turrets while we wait. That way we're just not kind of sitting here twiddling our thumbs. But this is our initial assault ship. How are we doing? Let's use the Gatling gun first, because there's probably a bunch of drones hanging out that we haven't destroyed yet. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Once we destroy the spaceport, it's going to give us full access to the village nearby. And we don't have to worry about the turrets lighting us up. There they are. There's the drones. Hi. Nope. Go. Laser turrets. Okay. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to destroy those turrets. There we go. Got him. Yeah, we're good. We're fine. Kaboom. Nice. Advanced spaceport. Ready for assault. We unlocked a silicon deposit. Yeah. Head back. Anything destroyed? Nope, we're good. I haven't replaced that missing block right there, but... For an open cockpit, this thing is pretty solid. You just have to fly it right and not leave your back end open to be shot at for very long. That's what we're going to have to assault here soon. It's about to be nighttime here soon, so we should have all the ingots we need by the time we wake up. The train hasn't loaded in yet. It's not allowing us to land. Come on, train. Load in, please. There we go. Put it right here for now. Turn off main power.
As you wish.
Okay. That's why I build above ground. Yeah. Yeah, which I don't mind. I know it's just an issue with optimization, that's all. Yeah, as soon as the game though gets into a full release, release, then optimization issues will no longer be an excuse. Yeah. At that point, I'd be like, this should be fixed by now. That spot got hit hard. That's probably where that the lasers were pointed the entire time. Good thing they can't do damage to the block speed behind it. That'd suck. Oh, that one was hit hard. Yeah, get some severe damage over here. Yeah, that probably got hit because I got a clean shot on my rear side. I was trying to get away. I don't know. One of these days we'll make a heavy combat ship eventually. Something that, yeah, it's got larger thrusters on it, more armor. We'll eventually get to that point. Probably a late game vehicle, maybe. Okay, to 1,000. Nearly there. 2,500 now. We need. We're a little over halfway there. By the way, I'm curious, how many times do drones come by to your base? I think it's probably once a day. You know, if you're always at your base and you're just kind of waiting for the day-night cycle to go through, I think it's like once every 24 hours. So once every day-night cycle. Okay, I'm off for lunch. Have a good one, Dave. Yeah, thanks. That's it. That's it. Yeah, thanks for coming here, Nessa. Well, that's the way it is right now. Once version 9 comes out, they're going to increase the amount of enemies you're having to deal with per attack, and they're probably going to increase the frequency of it. Every 10 minutes or so. It really depends on what how long a day-night cycle is, too. And if it's on a multiplayer server, they probably have it cranked up to be to insane levels. And 6 drones usually. Okay, yeah, it's probably the server settings. They probably have on. If you're playing on a server, they probably have it cranked up to where drone attacks happen much more frequently than default. That's probably it. Because when they attack, they usually only attack at maximum 4 at a time. And what they attack as is completely random. They could attack with rocket launchers sometimes. But that's what I've usually gotten. And I know this because on my casual playthrough, I'm already in late game. I mean, I made like 3 giant structures and a couple of bases, and my initial bases, my early game bases were made in survival, and they only showed up at maximum 4. Ended up putting a rocket launcher on my base to shoot them down. Wow, yeah. Yeah, it's most likely just your server. Whatever server you're on has cranked up the difficulty beyond what the default is. Even the default hard difficulty is barely, they barely attack. But that could soon change. As soon as that update comes out, they're probably going to change the frequency and the difficulty of each wave. I think it would be pretty cool for them to attack your base after you destroyed one of their points of interest. Like as soon as you go back to your base, they immediately attack as like revenge for you destroying one of their points of interest. I think that'd be cool. But that's just me. Okay, 800 more, and we'll be able to spawn in the capital ship. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. It would be awesome. That means not only would you get the XP and all the stuff that you got from destroying their base, but also you get a whole bunch of drop ships that all of a sudden show up at your base when you get back, try and get their stuff back, and you have to defend yourself. Awesome. And if you're playing in co-op, your friends would be like, "Who'd you piss off?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Think of all the loot, right? If you're able to defend yourself, all that loot, man, ooh, it'd be great. It's currently nighttime. Sleep. And it's delivered to your door, right? Exactly. That's why it would be awesome. Boo-doo-doo-boo-doo. There we go. Yep, we got all of the Sathium we will ever need. Okay. Actually, just do that. Okay. We got this leftover Sathium ingots. We'll put into here, which we have plenty left over. Now let's spawn this baby in. If you can get to them before they despawn, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna need some space. Spawn this in. Okay, here we go. Start production. Only takes 2 seconds because I put it onto instant rather than timed. And whoop. And here we go. Whoop. There we go. Loosh. Okay, let's put some fuel in this thing and get it to hover. Okay, we got fuel on us? Yes, we do. It's big, yeah. Yep. Do this real quick. Manage. Get us on board. Get ourselves out of the radiation zone. Glitchy containers, the textures on the containers are a little glitchy when you put them side by side like that. And here we are. The heck? You are a weird camera. You're weird. You're not supposed to be like that. Okay. Level ourselves out. Back ourselves up. Put ourselves somewhere relatively safe here. Probably out here somewhere. Oh god! We hit the monument. This. Ourselves kind of landed here. There we go. Perfect. Trying to figure out probably this. Our camera's kind of screwed up. It's supposed to be kind of yeah, it's not supposed to be like this. Okay. What is the not that version? Trying to move it back. Trying to remember how to move the camera back. Zooms out, okay. Kind of weird. Okay. Not letting me. I'm trying to hit Alt and then the scroll wheel and it's not working. Oh, it's not like that. Page up, page down. Yeah, I know, it's weird. I'm confused too. Oh, you'd have a Hindenburg, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're able to have this thing sit here without burning any fuel, so that's nice. Okay. We just so happen to have a rocket launcher we could put on that. Because we found one. Okay. Turn turrets off. Right. Thrusters, I mean. Ah, right. Okay. There we go. Thrusters turned off. Not turrets. I turned them back on. Okay, let's kind of fall down here. Okay, thrusters are currently turned off. Let's down. We can get on and off of our TV here. There we go. Now we can get a lot further away from our base and get all the end game materials. But there she is. The light transport. She doesn't exactly have a name. But she is she's got these armor plates to protect the soft bits right here. All the important parts that keep it running. Got cannons and a minigun by default. You could switch it. I could switch it out to have a rocket launcher if I want a rocket launcher to protect us from drones wherever we land. We've got sentry turrets to protect us against anything that gets too close. Mainly predators. Yep. And you got the hover vehicle docking area down here and a SV docking area above. Nice. I gotta figure out an end game CV, and I'm thinking I'm probably gonna make this thing as the end game CV. So we'll need an end game CV, and we gotta make the end game base. I'm gonna see if they change the controls for zooming in and out. Control panel, drop item, main power switch, fly mode, rotate axis, block, console shortcut, blueprint tree, a display mode, toggle run, mouse. Three. Toggle toolbar on and off, mouse 3. Fly mode, switch view. Double checking here. B, switch menu. Left alt, look around. Yeah, there's something weird going on with the mouse roll, because I already, before I made the blueprint, I already kind of connected. I already made it to where the vehicle was going to already blah blah blah, where the camera was already in the right spot. So the fact that it's not in the right spot, it's kind of weird. Should have been in the right spot, the right, you know, by default. But radiated area real quick. There we go. Yeah, it's not acting correct. Not working. This button is the only one that works. Why it's not working correctly, I don't know. Holding it doesn't work either. Control? No. Shift? No. Nope. That's odd. Slightly annoying, but okay. Just gonna have to deal for the time being until we can figure out a solution to this. Either that or we just have to reload the game. That's quite possible too. Oh well, so we have it in the game now. So we have it in our hardcore game, which is good. Let's just get all the bullets made for this. So we need rifle bullets. We need rifle bullets and cannon bullets. Start fueling this thing up. And we're gonna need to get a bunch of warp crystals so that we can actually warp this thing around. And I'm thinking probably the very first ship we're going to bring it with us is probably going to be the mining ship. We're going to probably bring the mining HV so that we can be able to land somewhere and immediately take care of. So we're probably going to bring our combat ship. We're going to bring the Fox, and we're going to bring the Mo, which is our mining vehicle. That's probably the two vehicles we're going to bring first. 10 of those. Projectile rounds, let's make a bunch of those. Because that's going to defend us on the ground. And for the time being, we'll make a bunch of minigun rounds. Oh, oxygen. We need oxygen. We need to make a bunch of oxygen. Okay. Just start fueling this thing up. Grab the buff. Just finished my farm with 27 of each plant. Oh my god. Whew. That's crazy right there. That's nuts. In Empyrion? Very nice. Giant, massive farm. Okay. 700 cannon shells on board. We're gonna also have to make some docking pads. Well, I'm gonna have to make a docking pad for the mining vessel so that it will connect to the bottom of this thing. There you go. Gotta go for now? No problem. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. Yes, on board. Manage. Drop you. And we're gonna go to here. Find the gun. Going to find the gun. Turrets. Okay, not predators. Going to keep bases. Not drones and players. Questions and generators. Okay. The same. Cannons are going to be for taking out turrets and mounted weapons only. Minigun. Don't care about predators. Just drones. Okay, and then all the sentry guns. These will actually destroy ground troops, but it's going to ignore everything else. It's meant to clear out the landing zone. This is kind of a slow way, but there. There we go. So that's why they're on the side like that. They're designed to clear the landing zone. These are designed to, if we're going to be near, if we're going to be traveling above a point of interest, we want this thing to be opening fire to kind of hopefully take out the turrets. Maybe. But they're just designed to remove their fire at us so we can get away. We don't want to park ourselves right next to a point of interest. They're just kind of there just in case. And the minigun on top for the time being is going to be for taking out drones, because the minigun is pretty good at doing that. Cannons are better, but look, more bullets. Okay, let's eat first. Getting low on food. Low on calories. Okay. Just make steak. Just to make sure that we get full up. Then I'll just grab some more wheat and bring it back here. But now that we got the CV, tomorrow is design. We're going to be doing design tomorrow. Tomorrow and Saturday. And get ourselves ready for next week when we go into the late game and start actually searching for this giant fortress. Gotta go start searching for it. Do a little bit of exploration at planets further away. Yeah, docking pad. Docking pad, docking pad. We have docking pad unlocked. We do. Make one. Make one real quick. Docking pad. There we go. Because we're going to need it for the mining hovercraft. Go and get our box, and we're going to dock it up on top. It now has a designated, docking area now. Turn on main power.
Acknowledged.
Turn off main power.
Accepted.
Okay, we're good. And there. Oh, we're here. That's right. Bullets. Bullets. We gotta get a ton of fuel for this thing to keep it running, though. Manage. There. That. Yeah, we're gonna need a ton of fuel to keep this thing running. Because we're at 3%. And it's really not using that much power, but clock's ticking. So eventually it will run out of power. Probably go and cut down a whole bunch of trees. Take care of that. So I'm not wasting the protein pellets. We're not at level 20 yet, so we can't get the hydrogen fuel, the fusion cells. Okay, we don't need that many. We're good. Walking pad, fuel cell. But there's like a couple of things we need to design. We need to design the underground base. I'm just kind of trying to get it all in my head here. We need to make an underground base and make the underground complex. And we need to make a larger CV that acts more of like a unpackable base. So that when we're really, really far away from home, it'll act as a far away from home base that we can unpack and a whole bunch of really cool stuff with. Manage, fill, good. And go back to here, manage bullets. We're gonna need a lot of projectile rounds. Okay, now we're waiting on the minigun. I don't have a constructor on board. We don't have to worry about training off a constructor. We can't hear the impacts of the rounds. That's kind of funny. The range on those sentry turrets, though, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Those sentry turret, the range on the sentry turrets is insane. Okay, so 2,000 bullets should be more than enough for what we want to do. Okay, we're going to need to get a bunch of water containers in order to fill our oxygen on board. And then the docking pad. And what we'll do is we'll immediately take our mining vessel, dock it to the bottom of it, so that we have it. And we'll turn you off. Yeah, let's go over to here. Dock this right here. Turn on main power.
Confirmed.
So that once we're done designing, we can just go straight into lifting this thing off and figuring out. Oh, we need a booster too. We haven't made a booster on this thing, right? We need the booster to be able to dock this thing. That's what we're missing. We got one part of it. Now we need to get the other part of it. Vehicle booster, level 5. The hover booster. That's what's required to be able to get this thing to dock underneath. Yeah. Why is it? It's spawning me underneath. Okay, the game is kind of just doing a lot of really weird stuff right now. Doing some very weird stuff right now. Which makes sense. We've been playing this game for 4 hours. Whatever memory leaks that the game has is starting to pile up and become a problem. So it's got a couple of memory leaks. The fact that the game the performance progressively gets worse the longer you play, and then you have to restart the game so that it resets everything. Kind of weird. Let's turn you off. Okay. Place this underneath. Right, ma. Okay. Waiting for the recharge on the booster. Place ourselves right underneath. I think it's like shift space. Yes. There we go. And turn off main power. Turn off main power.
Initiating.
There. Then we use that to get back into it. We are now docked. We have everything we need to be able to go and get ourselves a bunch of estrium and zirconium. But this little platform is designed to accept pretty much all of my hovercraft. So if there's any hovercraft I need, I can just dock it right underneath here. So if we're going to be assaulting points of interest on another planet that only our CV can get to, or, you know, our CV, yeah, if our CV can get to it, we just dock the tank, our medium tank or a light tank or whatever tank. We could dock it to the bottom of this thing and it will allow us to get there. But I put that little hatch there so that I could actually get on board this thing when I need to. Just test it to make sure. Stairs don't seem to work really well in this game right now. Anybody else having trouble trying to get upstairs when they're playing? I have to jump right over them. Kind of funny. Yeah, stairs are terrible. Yes, yes they are. Okay. 2x1 ramps, yeah, I do the same. Yeah. Got practice here. It's possible, but I need to dock it in the correct spot. Get my angle just right. This would be a lot easier if I was... There we go. Do that. That's weird. Interesting. How do you get up to that height? Like this. Close you up. So I can clearly get up this. There's a thing called a there's a device called a hover booster, and the hover booster, it activates by hitting shift and space. And right now I'm just trying to make sure I'm lined up just right, and whoop, bunk. There we go. And it docks right up there. It has a limit to how far up it can go, but it's enough to basically right up to the top. Shift and space, yep. You hit shift plus space and it activates the hover booster and it launches it straight up. It's originally designed to allow you to jump over obstacles in a hovercraft, but I'm using it so I can dock my ships. So I can do this. Then turn it off, and then whoop. For some reason it likes to spawn me right below it, which is kind of odd. Well, there you go. I have my mining ship and I have a combat ship, so that when we go to another planet, we have means of mining and also defending ourselves if need be. There she is. Light transport. But I could do that with pretty much any HV I have. As long as I put a hover booster on it and put a docking pad on the top of it. Right to the top. Mama bird it. And what's cool about the hovercrafts and CVs is there doesn't seem to be a limit to the number of ships that you could dock to a structure. And for good buddy. Sell some. Here sells a couple of these. Okay, so we got a decent amount of fuel. We probably want to get a little bit more fuel than what we have. And we've got pretty much all the bullets we need on board. So we're good on that front too. There we go. I'm just trying to get my calories back up. But next time we play this playthrough is probably going to be on Tuesday, because we got some designing to do. So we're going to be building things. Yay, building. over. And I'm trying to think of like, okay, if we're gonna have this, if we're gonna make this end game CV, do I want to put how much farm land, how many farm plots do we want to put on board this thing? I'm thinking probably only 2 9x9 plots. We'll figure out how to fit 2 9x9 plots inside this thing, so that when we're way far away, we can still grow food while we're out and about. The key is trying to figure out what's enough to where we could still fuel the thing and not have to worry about it just using up all of our fuel while it's running. Guns are firing. All of it. Okay. It's daytime right now. Warning, drones are on their way. Screw you. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If you're new here, hit the follow button on your way out. Tomorrow is gonna, like I said, gonna be doing some designing. Coming up with trying to figure out the late game for blueprints. We've got like two things we need to make. We need to make all the modules for the underground base, which are eventually going to put right over there in the center part of this little divot surrounded by stuff. And we also have to make a larger CV, much larger than that one, that expands upon docking of devices on board. Basically turn a giant CV into an unpackable base. See how that works out. Anyway, I'll see y'all there. Stay alive out there. Don't drop your drink. Bye.